The alliance between China and Russia has become one of the most debated issues on the international stage, capturing the attention of Western strategists and influencing global geopolitical dynamics. Since the start of the war in Ukraine in 2022, the relationship between Beijing and Moscow has become even more evident, particularly with China's economic and technological support playing a crucial role in Russia's efforts. But what is the true depth of this partnership, and what sustains this union? Historically, Sino-Russian relations have been marked by mistrust. Geopolitical rivalry and ideological differences between the two nations have created a legacy of tensions. Today, however, this history seems to be set aside in favor of a common goal: resisting Western pressure, especially from the United States. Although Beijing and Moscow are more aligned than ever, the growing dependence of Russia on China undeniably causes discomfort. Beijing, in turn, faces a dilemma in balancing its relationship with Russia and its economic interests with the European Union, one of its largest trading partners. Some experts even speculate about a possible future rupture, similar to the Sino-Soviet split of the 1960s. However, the foundation of the current alliance suggests a very different reality. A comparison between today's Beijing-Moscow axis and the former Sino-Soviet alliance sheds light on the depth of this partnership. In 1949, the Soviet Union was the first country to recognize the newly established People's Republic of China, establishing a diplomatic relationship that culminated in a treaty of friendship signed by Mao Zedong and Joseph Stalin. However, ideological divergences and geopolitical tensions led to the collapse of this alliance in just over a decade. Today, the situation is different. The Sino-Russian relationship not only survived the adversities of the Cold War, but has also emerged as an even stronger partnership, built on 5 key pillars: geopolitics, economy, ideology, leadership, and institutional ties. During the Cold War, the Soviet Union was seen as a potential threat to China's security due to its global military strength. Today, this fear no longer exists. Despite being the stronger power in the partnership, China is focused on its rivalry with the US, reducing its inclination to challenge Russia directly. In turn, Moscow views Beijing more as a strategic ally than as a threat. Economic complementarity forms a solid foundation for the Sino-Russian relationship. Russia provides oil and natural gas, while China is a vital source of technology and manufacturing. Western sanctions against Moscow have further strengthened these ties, with both nations seeking alternatives, such as barter-based transaction systems, to bypass financial barriers. During the Cold War, ideological differences were a major factor in the Sino-Soviet split. Today, ideology plays a secondary role. Despite their differences, both Beijing and Moscow share concerns about the influence of Western democracies and work to preserve their authoritarian regimes. The personal relationship between the leaders of the two nations, Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin, is far closer than that of the Sino-Soviet leaders of the past. Since 2012, Xi and Putin have met more than 40 times, strengthening a relationship that transcends diplomatic formalities. Unlike in the past, today's Sino-Russian relationship extends beyond high-level agreements. It encompasses interpersonal connections, academic initiatives, student exchanges, and tourism, along with impressive military collaboration, with over 100 joint exercises since 2003. While the Sino-Russian relationship is strong, it is not immune to challenges. Western pressure may attempt to exploit cracks in the alliance, but breaking this partnership will be extremely difficult. Strategic rivalry with the US and economic complementarity deeply bind these two nations. Moreover, Moscow knows that Beijing does not pose a direct threat to its security. Any attempt by the US or Europe to lure Russia away from China will face enormous obstacles. Moscow is well aware that Beijing offers indispensable economic and strategic support, particularly in times of sanctions and international isolation. The Beijing-Moscow axis is not perfect, but it is resilient. In contrast to the Sino-Soviet alliance, today's relationship is more stable, diversified, and less vulnerable to ideological ruptures. Built on mutual interests and opposition to the West, this alliance seems poised to endure. The new axis of autocracies is not just a product of current circumstances, but a force that will shape the global balance of power in the years to come.